Welcome to another tutorial from Play Simple Chords. In this tutorial I'm going to cover the family of dominant chords. So I'll be showing you the extensions and alterations that can be made to a dominant chord and showing their use and sound, how they would sound in a standard progression. I'll also be doing this in the future for the major chords and minor chords. So to start with, we recall that a dominant 7 can be identified by its third and seventh. And it's usually a diatonic third and a flatted 7. It's commonly referred to as the tritone. So any of these are necessary for you to have a dominant chord. You need to have a tritone. So in this case, we see that this tritone, the E and the B flat, belong to the C dominant 7. And we can add the fifth in some of the chord voicings or leave it out in some of the chord voicings, and you would still have a dominant 7th chord. So let's look at the extensions and where would they come from. For any of these chords in any key, if you play the triad built on the second note, in this case it's a D triad. If you play the D minor triad, you would end up with the 9th of C, the 11th of C, and the 13th of C. And for that matter, it would be the 9th, 11th, and 13th of whatever the bass note chord is that you're playing. From this chord, you can access all of the alterations to the notes that are traditionally altered. So from the 9, you could go down to the flat 9, you could go up to the sharp 9. From the 11, you can go up to the sharp 11, which is the same as going down from the 5th and making it a flat 5. So this tone, the F sharp or G flat, can be referred to as a sharp 11 or a flat 5, depending on what you're doing in your left hand. And then you can go to the 13th and you can have a flatted 13th, and you can pair that with other notes to make it a dominant 13th or either flatted 13th, which is an alteration to another diatonic chord. So let's get started with some of the alterations. 1, 3, flat 7, and we know that the D will give you the 9. But let's start with the 5. Let me change up a little bit. Let's start with the 5 so I can kind of keep it going numerically. So with the 5 we can make a sharp 5. We can have a C7 sharp 5. We can do a C7 flat 5. And we can do, if we add the 9, it becomes a sharp 11. Rather than a flat 5. Then if we go straight down to the 9, we can do a flat 9. You can put the 5 in or leave the 5 out. You still end up with a flat 9 chord. Or you can have a sharp 9. Same thing, you can put the 5 in or take it out, you still end up with a sharp 9 chord. Now with the 9 and the 7 and the 5, if you play it by itself, you leave the third out, you have the suspended second chord. Suspended 9, suspended 2, which would resolve to the 3. Using the same pairing in the left hand, leaving the 3 out, and play the 4, you end up with a suspended 4. Now let's look at what tones can be paired with the 9 to get an alteration. Now we looked at the sharp 11 already. So you still have the C, C7 sharp 11. Then we can play the C9 plus the flat 5. So you have a C9 with a sharp 5, or C9 flat 13. Or you can play the C9, and you can add the 6th or 13th, which in this case is A. And that'll give you a C13. And then to do an alteration of that, you could play this D, a D major triad, and you'll get a C13 sharp 11. So these are alterations that you can make to the 9. You can do the sharp 11, you can add the 13, you can put in the sharp 5, you can put in the sharp 11. Let's look at the flat 9. Now what can we pair with the flat 9 to get altered chords? Well, we can pair the sharp 11, which is, this case will be a flat 5. Now if I add the 5 in the right hand, it becomes a 9 sharp 11 rather than flat 9 flat 5, because I have a 5, so I can't have two 5s. So if I take the 5 out of the left hand and just play the root, the 3rd, and the flatted 7th, we have a flat 9 flat 5. And again, we're accessing all of these from the D position on the keyboard, because the D is your extensions and alterations. You can vary the notes from the D triad to get these alterations and extensions. So there's one other one. You can do a C7, flat 9, flat 13. Now it looks just like the C7 flat 9 sharp 5. The only difference is you're including the 5 in the bass chord, and you're playing the flat 9 and the flat 13 as a separate tone. Now let's pair with the sharp 9. So with the sharp 9, you can do the sharp 9 sharp 5 chord. And we've heard that chord many times. So we could do a sharp 9 sharp 11. And we can do a sharp 9 with a flat 5, which is the same as a sharp 11. You just take the 5 out of your other hand. So you have 9 sharp 5. Now let's take a look at an example where we apply these extended and altered chords to a chord progression. We're going to use a progression that's used in the song Amazing Grace. So we would start, the basic format would sound like this. Okay, so it's just really basic chords. So you're playing a 1, and then taking the 1 to a 7, 1 dominant 7 to the 4. Now we're going to add a dominant chord to this progression by putting in a 2-5-1. So we're going to add a 2-5-1, turning the C into a 5 to a 1. But it's actually a 5-1-4 in C, but it's a 2-5-1 to the 4 because we're using a minor. G is not normally a minor in the C major scale. And we've gone over that in the 12 gospel songs. So you can refer back to those and it'll walk you through this whole concept of borrowed chords and playing out from a related scale. So we're going to take and try each one of these examples. I just did one where we use the C9 sharp 11 on the 5 chord going to the 4 or to the 1 in this case in the 2-5-1. So we tried the 9 sharp 11. We can also just do a straight sharp 5. See that? And then go to the 1. So in this 2-5-1, we can go 2, 2, 5, 9 sharp 11 to the 1, or we can go 2, and then just do the sharp 5. And each one of those has a different sound. Or we can take and do a flat 9. So we can do we can take the 2 and then do a flat 9, flat 5 to the 1. Or we can do a 13 chord. We can go so that's we're keeping the melody note, but without the melody note you have a 13th chord. So let's see, we could do a suspended chord as well, a 9 sus 4, dominant 9 sus 4. Took me a minute to locate my notes, but it's so we added the 9, sus 4, to go to the 1, and then so let's try one other one. Let's see. I don't think the 9 sharp 9 sharp 5 would sound right. That's sharp 9 flat 5. We can see that. Let's try that. Sharp 9 and a flat 5. So that sounds okay, but you're getting the idea that how you can use the D chord to access these changes, these alterations, and the melody note would have some bearing on what the overall sound would be. Because we just did the sharp 9 flat 5, we could do the sharp 9 sharp 5. Let's see what that sounds like in context. So that was okay too. So you get the idea. You can experiment with these chords, dominant chords, in a 2-5-1 progression or some other progression where there's a 5. I just thought this would be an easy one, applying it to Amazing Grace. And hopefully when slow enough you could see the pattern and the progression and how you move from this D triad over the root third and the flatted 7 to access your alterations. And be able to apply them to a song.